We are commencing legal action against Mrs. Meghan Markle. Her televised allegations, particularly the Oprah interview, have inflicted undue harm upon the royal family. An apology no longer suffices. The matter will now proceed through the courts.
In the sharp morning air of a late autumn day in London, the gates of Buckingham Palace opened to a crowd of flashing cameras and murmuring reporters. It was December 1, 2025, and the world had gathered for what had been described as a routine update on royal duties. But as King Charles III stepped up to the podium, his face stern and determined beneath the gray skis, the atmosphere buzzed with expectation. Surrounded by advisors in tailored suits, he adjusted his notes and began speaking. His voice was steady but carried undeniable seriousness. "We are initiating legal proceedings against Mrs. Meghan Markle. Her televised accusations, particularly the Oprah interview, have caused unjust harm to the royal family. An apology is no longer enough. The matter will now move through the courts." The words hung in the air like thunder, sending shockwaves through the assembled media. Journalists scrambled, phones lighting up with urgent updates. This was no ordinary announcement. It marked the first time a reigning British monarch personally launched a defamation claim against a family member. The interview in question, broadcast nearly 5 years earlier on March 7, 2021, had been a pivotal moment, drawing over 17 million viewers in the US alone and sparking global conversations about race, mental health, and the inner workings of the monarchy. In it, Meghan, the Duchess of Sussex, alongside Prince Harry, made serious allegations, concerns from unnamed royals about their son Archie's skin tone, a lack of support during her mental health crisis, and feeling unprotected by the institution. The palace's initial response in 2021 had been restrained and brief. A statement released 2 days after the broadcast expressed sadness over the couple's experiences, noting that while memories may differ, the issues raised, especially about race, were taken very seriously but would be addressed privately as a family. Yet over the years, the divide widened. Books, documentaries, and more interviews from the Sussexes kept the wounds open, with Harry's 2023 memoir, Spare, adding more personal accusations against his father and brother. Now, with this lawsuit, King Charles signaled the end of patience. Insiders close to the palace described the move as the result of years of accumulated slights and failed private reconciliation attempts. One source, speaking anonymously, said the king had agonized over the decision, seeing it as necessary to defend the institution's credibility amid declining public faith in celebrity-driven narratives. The press conference unfolded amid tight security, with both protesters and supporters lining the streets. Signs reading "Justice for the Crown" clashed with ones declaring "Free speech for Meghan," highlighting the polarized climate the royals now faced. As Charles concluded, stressing unity and service as the monarchy's core principles, the implications spread quickly. Legal analysts weighed in on the hurdles ahead. Defamation cases in the UK require proving falsehood and damage. And with the interview's worldwide reach, jurisdiction issues loomed. But for the moment, the spectacle captivated everyone, with comparisons drawn to historic royal scandals like the 1936 abdication crisis. This was more than a family dispute. It was a fight for control of the narrative in an age of instant media scrutiny. The Oprah Winfrey interview remains etched in public memory as a landmark exposé, where the polished exterior of royal life fractured under the pressure of stark revelations. Aired on CBS, it showed Meghan and Harry in a tranquil California garden, discussing their decision to step back from senior royal roles in 2020 dubbed Megxit. Meghan spoke openly about her suicidal thoughts during pregnancy, claiming the palace refused her help due to concerns over appearances. Harry confirmed her account, adding that royal family discussions had included worries about how dark Archie's skin might be, implying racial bias without naming individuals. The immediate reaction was chaotic. Buckingham Palace's statement, issued on behalf of Queen Elizabeth II, acknowledged the family's sadness upon learning the extent of the couple's struggles. It emphasized that the matters would be handled privately, a classic royal strategy for dealing with controversy. Still, the interview's impact reached far beyond the palace walls. Media outlets analyzed every detail, with UK tabloids calling it a betrayal, while American commentators praised the couple's honesty. Polls at the time showed a drop in royal popularity, with a YouGov survey indicating 48% of Britons viewed the interview negatively and 29% positively. Over the following years, the story continued to evolve. The Sussexes' 2022 Netflix series revisited similar themes, portraying the royal institution as outdated and unsupportive. Harry's Spare detailed alleged physical fights with Prince William and emotional distance from King Charles, then Prince of Wales. These accounts kept the original interview's claims alive, framing them as part of a larger pattern of institutional shortcomings. Royal historians like Robert Lacey noted in newer editions of Battle of Brothers that the Oprah interview pushed diversity discussions onto the palace agenda, leading to initiatives like enhanced staff training on unconscious bias. Critics argued the claims lacked precision, allowing varied interpretations. For example, the skin tone comment was later referenced in Omid Scobie's 2023 book Endgame as involving letters between Meghan and Charles, though without direct quotes. The vagueness fueled ongoing debate. Some saw it as proof of systemic problems, while others viewed it as exaggerated for sympathy. The palace, sticking to its never complain, never explain motto, avoided public rebuttals, but private leaks suggested annoyance over what they saw as one-sided portrayals. As the 5-year anniversary approached, tensions simmered, with royal observers speculating whether reconciliation was still possible. The lawsuit announcement shattered that hope, repositioning the interview not as a past event but as active legal conflict. Why take legal action now, nearly half a decade after the interview? Sources point to a buildup of unresolved grievances magnified by later Sussex projects. The 2021 broadcast was originally approached with containment strategies, but as Harry's memoir and the Netflix documentary amplified the narrative, the palace's patience thinned. A major factor was the perceived monetization of family conflict, with Archewell's media deals earning millions while royal approval ratings fluctuated. In 2024, polls showed a rebound in support for the monarchy following Charles's coronation, but persistent negativity toward the Sussexes remained. An Ipsos survey from October 2025 showed Meghan's favorability at 20% in the UK, down from 25% the previous year, with Harry at 28%. This decline, insiders say, triggered a strategic reassessment, concluding that silence had allowed misinformation to spread. Legal history also influenced the decision. Meghan's successful 2021 privacy lawsuit against Associated Newspapers for publishing her letter to her father demonstrated that the courts could be effective in media disputes. Additionally, personal health challenges within the family shifted priorities. Charles's cancer diagnosis in early 2024, followed by Catherine, underscored the need for stability. Reports say these events pushed the king to consider his legacy, viewing the unresolved allegations as a stain. A confidential briefing, according to anonymous aides, compiled evidence of reputation damage, including reduced tourism to royal sites and strained Commonwealth relations, partly tied to the interview's colonialism critiques. The decision became final in mid-2025 amid scrutiny of Harry's U.S. visa over drug admissions in Spare, raising questions about inconsistent public statements. Palace lawyers, referencing dismissed defamation cases like Samantha Markle's against Meghan, argued that the opera claims crossed into falsehood by implying malice without proof. The timing also aligned with broader modernization efforts, such as transparency reforms, making the lawsuit a protective move to reclaim narrative control. Behind the scenes, Prince William and Princess Catherine emerged as key advocates for the lawsuit. Their involvement is deeply rooted in a history of strained family relations predating the opera interview. As the future king and queen, they long viewed the Sussexes' public revelations as threats to the monarchy's stability and their own future roles. Sources knowledgeable about palace dynamics describe William's growing frustration, which reached a breaking point with the release of Harry's Spare in 2023. The book not only claimed a physical confrontation between the brothers, but also disclosed private conversations and alleged favoritism, which William reportedly saw as serious breaches of trust and royal norms. This sentiment echoed broader accounts of the rift reaching an all-time low, with insiders noting that even before Megxit, tensions simmered over conflicting attitudes toward duty and media engagement. Catherine, traditionally seen as a peacemaker within the family, has undergone a notable shift in her position, especially after the Sussexes' 2022 Netflix series. The production depicted her as distant and unwelcoming during her early interactions with Meghan, a portrayal that clashed with her public reputation as a compassionate figure committed to issues like early childhood development and mental health. 2025 Vanity Fair report highlighted the influential roles she and William played in past royal crises, such as the decision to remove Prince Andrew's titles amid his scandals, demonstrating their pattern of decisive action to protect the monarchy's standing. Recent reports suggest Catherine's perspective has been shaped by personal hardships, including her 2024 cancer diagnosis, which deepened her determination to maintain family unity. Sources say she has clashed with other royals over attempts to reconcile with Harry, calling for clear boundaries while occasionally supporting gestures of goodwill, such as encouraging his potential return to the UK without Meghan as a test of commitment. Insiders describe several emergency meetings where William argued that unaddressed allegations undermine public confidence in the monarchy. He often cites polling data, such as a 2025 Ipsos survey showing his approval rating at 70% amid his Earthshot Prize initiatives, dramatically higher than the Sussexes' lower numbers. This data-driven approach reflects William's strategic mindset, shaped by his role as heir apparent and his focus on modernizing the royal image. Catherine complements this perspective by stressing the personal toll, especially the effect on their three children, Prince George, Princess Charlotte, and Prince Louis, whom she aims to shield from the constant media turmoil surrounding their aunt and uncle. Her health battle in 2024 intensified this protective instinct, with aides saying it motivated her to press King Charles to take action, viewing the lawsuit as a way to restore credibility rather than seek revenge. Biographies like Katie Nishal's The New Royals describe William and Catherine as a strong, united team. Their partnership, strengthened through shared challenges like public scrutiny and health issues, stands in stark contrast to Harry's growing isolation in California. This contrast is evident in William's rare public references to his brother, often containing subtle reminders of responsibility, such as during a 2025 appearance where he mentioned family bonds despite ongoing estrangement. Their stance reflects a generational shift. While Charles has traditionally favored forgiveness, uneasy with William's harder approach to Harry and Meghan, the Wales prioritize duty and long-term institutional preservation over temporary reconciliation. In this context, the lawsuit is not just a legal strategy, but a deliberate step to establish a firm boundary, ensuring the monarchy's story stays focused on service rather than controversy. This dynamic has also shaped broader palace strategies, with William and Catherine accelerated in decision-making processes, as experts note their understanding of public sentiment positions them as major architects of the crown's future direction. Oprah Winfrey, the iconic media figure who hosted the explosive 2021 interview with Meghan Markle and Prince Harry, has reportedly been wrestling with deep regret over its long-term consequences. Sources close to her inner circle describe a reflective period in which she questions the broadcast's role in intensifying family tensions within the British monarchy. While Oprah has not released an official statement, whispers from industry insiders suggest she now sees the sit-down as a turning point that grew far beyond her original intention of fostering empathy and understanding. A 2025 Newsweek feature echoed this notion through a producer's anonymous remark, praising Meghan's emotional openness during filming, but subtly hinting at Oprah's hindsight concerns about the interview's polarizing effect on public views of the royals. This introspection aligns with broader conversations from outlets like Quora Discussions and Social Media Analysis, where observers speculate that Oprah wishes she had pressed further or challenged certain claims to provide a more balanced portrayal, potentially softening the backlash that followed. Her concerns are not only personal but deeply tied to her wide-reaching professional empire, especially her ventures in the United Kingdom. Oprah's global brand, built through decades of influential television, publishing, and philanthropy, includes strong connections to British audiences and collaborators. For example, her ongoing partnerships with UK broadcasters for content distribution and her participation in international wellness efforts could face scrutiny in light of the royal lawsuit. Recent projects in 2025 highlight this exposure. Oprah appeared in the Global Wellness Day campaign, which promoted accessible health initiatives and even referenced figures like Meghan, reinforcing her commitment to cross-Atlantic causes. Additionally, her 2025 Favorite Things list featured Meghan's artisanal jam, blending personal endorsements with commercial promotions that reach UK consumers through affiliate retailers. Philanthropic endeavors, such as her collaboration with Meghan and Melinda French Gates on a digital wellness program for young girls launched in late 2024, extend into UK educational spaces, raising concerns that royal controversies might discourage donors or partners. Furthermore, Oprah's earlier mental health series with Prince Harry, announced in 2019, continues to influence documentaries and awareness campaigns with British connections, including planned expansions into European streaming services. King Charles's announcement of a defamation lawsuit has intensified these worries, placing Oprah in a delicate position. Legal analysts point to the possibility of subpoenas for testimony, similar to her involvement in Samantha Markle's 2022 defamation case against Meghan, where Oprah was called to provide information on related communications. Tabloid narratives, often sensationalized across YouTube and Facebook, portray Oprah as viewing the interview as a strategic misstep that magnified one-sided perspectives and risked damaging her reputation as a fair moderator in high-profile discussions. Videos circulating in 2025 allege she broke her silence with remarks like "I should never have trusted her," though these quotes remain unverified and likely exaggerated for attention. Despite the uproar, Oprah is said to maintain deep respect for the Sussexes' courage in sharing their experiences, carefully balancing personal empathy with professional caution. In an increasingly divided media landscape where royal scandals intersect with global entertainment, she is reportedly consulting advisors to protect her brand's credibility while avoiding further entanglement. This situation highlights the unintended ripple effects of high-stakes interviews, prompting even figures like Oprah to reassess the boundaries between journalism and personal advocacy. The lawsuit invokes UK defamation laws centered on libel as defined under the Defamation Act 2013, which reshaped the legal landscape to balance free speech with reputational protection. This legislation introduced a major requirement. A statement is not defamatory unless its publication has caused, or is likely to cause, serious harm to the claimant's reputation. For individuals like King Charles, this means demonstrating tangible damage such as financial loss, social isolation, or a measurable decline in public standing, rather than mere emotional distress. The act raised the threshold from the pre-2013 era, where minor harm was often enough, aiming to discourage trivial claims while addressing genuine injury. In this case, the palace must prove that Meghan's allegations in the Oprah interview, insinuating racial bias and institutional neglect, were false, communicated to a third party via broadcast, and resulted in serious reputational harm to the royal family, potentially shown through approval rating drops or strained international relationships. Filed in London's High Court, the claim specifically challenges the interview's statements regarding concerns about Archie's skin tone and the alleged denial of mental health support, arguing that these unverified accusations damaged the monarchy's image as a unifying institution. Jurisdiction is clear because the interview aired on UK networks like ITV, reached millions of viewers, and continues to influence British public discussion. The palace's legal team may also cite injurious falsehood, an associated tort involving deliberate false statements causing economic loss, though it is less common in strictly reputational cases. Numerous precedents apply, including recent high-profile cases involving the royals. Meghan's successful 2021 privacy lawsuit against Associated Newspapers for publishing her letter to her father established strong protections under privacy and copyright law and awarded her damages and a front-page apology. However, that case focused on privacy rather than defamation, revealing roles here where the royals are the plaintiffs. Prince Harry's victorious 2020 libel action against the same publisher for misrepresenting his ties to a military charity offers a closer parallel, resulting in damages and an apology. Other UK defamation outcomes involving public figures, such as Johnny Depp's 2020 loss to the Sun over abuse allegations, show the court's emphasis on truth as a defense, while cases like Lawrence Fox's 2024 libel defeat reveal the risks of unsupported claims. Crown lawyers seek remedies including compensatory damages potentially reaching hundreds of thousands of pounds, an injunction preventing further repetition, and a court-ordered retraction or apology to limit continuing harm. Significant challenges lie ahead, especially involving free speech protections under Article 10 of the European Convention on Human Rights, which allows restrictions only when necessary and proportionate. Meghan's team may invoke the public interest defense in Section 4 of the Defamation Act, asserting the interview addressed matters of societal importance, such as race and mental health, and that she reasonably believed in its public benefit. UK libel laws remain more favorable to plaintiffs than US standards, often shifting the burden onto defendants to prove truth, but the 2013 reforms make winning harder without clear proof of serious harm. Legal experts, including those from firms like Carter-Ruck, predict a lengthy battle lasting 12 to 24 months, with early disputes over jurisdiction and admissibility. The disclosure phase could uncover emails, palace notes, and even production records from Oprah's team, potentially revealing sensitive information that may embarrass both parties. The Sussexes' legal team, seasoned by victories such as Samantha Markle's dismissed 2024 suit, may counter with defenses like truth or honest opinion. A settlement remains possible, perhaps involving confidential compensation or a mutual non-disparagement agreement, common in celebrity disputes to avoid intense public scrutiny. This legal move represents a dramatic break from royal tradition, where grievances were typically handled privately under the never complain, never explain motto. By pursuing litigation, King Charles adopts a more assertive, modern approach to perceived defamation in the era of viral media, potentially shaping how institutions manage narrative conflict while balancing privacy. Truth and public accountability. Reactions arrived quickly, splitting along predictable lines. In the UK, tabloids celebrated the decision as overdue accountability, with the Express reporting 75% support. Progressive voices condemned it as suppression, echoing Guardian critiques of institutional bias. Internationally, US outlets like CNN emphasized free speech concerns, while European media drew parallels to historic royal controversies. Polls reflected this divide. YouGov's October 2025 data showed Charles at 68% approval and Meghan at 21%. Social media erupted with royal lawsuit trending. Women's rights groups rallied behind Meghan while monarchists supported the king. The effects reached Archewell, where donors hesitated and wider conversations about media responsibility intensified. As the case proceeds, the implications are significant. For Meghan, born in 1981 to a biracial family, her journey from actress to duchess symbolizes ambition and scrutiny. Her activism, from UN speeches to Archuel initiatives, now faces fresh challenges. Harry, once the spare-turned advocate, continues to confront family estrangement. His Invictus legacy endures, but personal ties remain strained. Charles's reign, characterized by modernization efforts, gains momentum through this decisive stance, with polls suggesting stability. William and Catherine further solidify their roles as guardians of the institution as their parenting stresses equality. Whether the lawsuit encourages dialogue or entrenches division, it highlights the monarchy's evolution in a digital era, balancing tradition with accountability.